Welcome back to the second tutorial in the Kerbal Mining Guild orientation series. Last time we covered the basics of what all the mining additions were, as well as how mining generally works in game. Now it's time to practice with a basic mining rig to get a handle on how all of this equipment actually works. So head on over to the VAB and assemble the following parts together. Also, for your convenience, I'll be sure to post craft files of each vehicle we use to Kerbalcast and then send them in. Start with a Mark II lander can. Make sure to put one engineer and one non-engineer Kerbal inside. I'll explain why later. Then, working your way down, attach a Rokamax X200-16, making sure to empty the fuel from it during assembly. Attach an ISRU converter and one large ore holding tank. Then attach 4 LT2 landing legs, making sure to set them to start deployed. Attach at least one drill to the side, and then finally slap some batteries and solar panels on it. You're going to need a few. Once you're done with assembly, put it out on the launch pad. Now remember how I said to bring along one engineer? Go ahead and have him EVA and hang on to the side of your capsule. After you switch back to your craft, the first thing you want to do is right-click on the drill. There are 2 stages to getting this thing going. First you have to click Deploy Drill, and then you'll need to click Start Drill. Once you've started, there are a few things to take note of. The first is look at your power. This will be using 15 energy per second per drill when they are running. In the Kerbin system, that means that you need roughly 1 Gigantor XL solar panel per drill to keep it constantly running. It's also worth mentioning, in case you didn't know, the farther away you are from the sun, the less power your panels produce. If you want to mine all the way out at Joule or Elu, you'll only get about 25% efficiency from each solar panel. The inverse is true if you go closer to the sun, with Moho giving you almost 700% efficiency from the same solar panels. The second thing you'll want to take note of is the rate at which the drill is extracting ore. You can view this by right-clicking on the drill. It will be the top number in the menu. For Kerbin surface, that should be anywhere from 0.1 to 1%, as Kerbin tends to average a 0.5% of ore concentration at the Space Center. Your efficiency may vary, but the most I've ever seen at the Space Center was 1.5%, and I do this a lot. Now it's time to put your engineer back in the capsule. After doing so, right-click on the drills and look at the number again. If you're playing in sandbox or science mode, you will see the rate of drilling efficiency has doubled. That's because a max level engineer confers a 100% bonus to mining efficiency. If you're doing this in career, your bonus will vary since the conferred bonus rises as your engineer levels up. Time accelerate forward a bit so you've got some more in the tank. Then shut off the drill using the right-click menu. We're going to focus on the ISRU now. Right-clicking on the ISRU reveals a lot more buttons and more information. The way it works, though, is that clicking on any of the buttons will start the ISRU working to produce the type of fuel you've selected. There is monopropellant, oxidizer, liquid fuel, and liquid fuel plus oxidizer. You can refine one or all of these at the same time. The refinery uses 30 energy per second per refining process, so running all 4 at once will cost you 120 energy per second. The refinery also uses roughly 0.5 units of ore per second per process. This is important to note because ore refined exclusively into either liquid fuel or oxidizer, rather than the combination, essentially wastes half of the ore you're using. For our test, we'll turn on the liquid fuel plus oxidizer refinery process and watch as we turn our precious ore into delicious fuel. The process takes time, but a single refinery will always outpace a single drill. It is possible to run both the ISRU and drill at the same time, but it's more cost effective to build crafts that can only do one at a time. When we get to base building, we'll talk about setting up efficient facilities to do both at the same time. It's also important to note that both the drill and the ISRU modules produce heat and work less efficiently when they overheat. They will not explode by overheating this way though, as they simply slow down until their heat drops to more tolerable levels. The best way to combat this is with solar panels. They act as passive radiators due to how exposed they are when expanded. So attaching solar panels on the body of your craft near both the drill and the ISRU will mitigate overheating greatly. Engineers also confer a slight heating reduction bonus to your craft, but it's negligible at best when compared to solar panel radiators. Now that you've got an idea of how to drink up all those delicious resources like a tasty milkshake, the next thing we'll learn is how to find said milkshake. Next time in part 3 of our mining tutorial, we'll learn how to use each of the resource scanners to their fullest potential. One final thing before signing off. The next episode is arguably the last of the basic stuff, since I reckon most of you know how to create a lander that can put the craft you just assembled on the Mun. The lander discussion will really be about fine-tuning and covering the different types of mining landers you can use. That being said, I'd like to tailor the rest of my episodes to suit what you need answered. I currently have around 9 planned episodes in total, but I'm willing to do more if I miss any questions you guys need answered. So please submit your questions to @JMA4707 on Twitter. Any question, no matter how big or how small, is welcome. I want to be as helpful as possible with these segments. Until next time, J. Arthur, signing off.